there was some other discourse that was going around, and I didn't comment on it or anything. I'm just kind of like perturbed by it, but
Hmm.
like maybe you
Okay.
can shed more light on it because you talking the Josie circles a little bit more than I do. Um, Tweet of ours from a silent hand of this show. I believe it was Niagara Driver.
Uh huh.
He had sent out something. It was like I think he was just he was basically saying like he's rejoicing in the fact that Stardom has ignored AEW and
Hmm. Yeah,
everything like that.
he said that for a while now.
And it seems like and that tweet took off, got a lot of traction and all that. Like I wanted to know like what do you think about like this, like is this like a more prevalent thing than maybe I think it is, or is it like because I'm kind of looking at it like i I personally don't care if Stardom shows up or not.
Same
um
here.
I don't
Like they
like
have a pay
if
per
they
view that day,
like if they
and they had a pay per view announced before that shit was ever came out. So it's like it's conflicting schedules, and it's like, do they want to, you know, offer talent out? And then like another thing about it is like, do you want to be like TJP where you say, oh yeah, Maki Ito and Mizuki and Shoko and Yuka and Miyu, y'all can all go over there in AEW, and then they fucking get over, and then now Yuka's out the door, and it seems like Miyu and Ito are both going to follow behind them pretty shortly because it's like we've already done pretty much everything there is to do. And if I haven't, it's because you haven't pushed me when I should have had the belt in the case of Maki Ito. Now I'm going to go over here to this place where like I'm probably getting paid more. Like you run the risk of getting
hey,
rated.
hey, Rossi trying to keep him broke.
Nah. I don't know. What I mean is like, okay, so if you same thing with like all the gaijins or whatever leaving out of New Japan, where it's
Yeah.
like you do this thing with them, they put you on, and then next thing you know, like you're like, hey. Also, another thing is like, uh, it's a lot fucking easier to wrestle in the AEW women's division is to work Stardom at the top. It's fucking brutal. So it's like, even for the Toshi Joshi Pro main eventers, like you watched that Yuka and Miyu main event from their last big match from 1-4, and like Yuka gets concussed in like the first like opening like 8 minutes of the match and gets continued through. It's like I'd rather wrestle Jamie Hayter, and she's stiff as fuck, but it's like it's still a different level.
I've always thought that Tokyo Joshi Pro was like a more natural partner for AW anyway.
Especially because it's
Like
already been there since like day
since
one.
day one, and it's like people have gone back and forth, people have lost, people have like came over and done their thing and everything like
Yep.
that. So I don't know if this is
Willow
just
Thunder
like
Rosa, for example.
yeah, I don't know if this is just like an unnecessary want just from assuming like the New Japan thing means you also get Stardom too. Um,
I think that's what people feel like in that way. And like I don't I see why you will want them there. The problem is like, okay, you bring, I don't know, you bring Shuri over, and she's facing, I don't know, who like whoever the champion is in AEW is Tony Storm.
Tony Storm.
Now, Tony Storm is probably the most successful gaijin in Stardom history. Rich, do you feel like seeing Shuri put her shoulders on the map for Tony Storm
I don't.
in 2023?
I don't really. Well, chances are that would come with some foolishness, like in the way this stands. Um, I don't really want to see Shuri ever putting her shoulders on the mat.
But
So
the reason why I say Shuri is like the probably the most protected wrestler, pro wrestler in the world from like one of the most in the last 4 years. You want to see her go over and lose Tony Storm? Not to say there's anything wrong with losing Tony Storm, but my point is like this woman was the fucking mountain that Tam and Julia had to chase for a year to conquer. Only one of them did. One might do it later this year.
hey,
Like you want to
but at
lose
the
Tony
same
Storm to
time,
come back for
but
what?
but but at the same time, I understand like if Shuri's in a tag match second from the bottom, like is that really like what we clamoring for either? Like I understand like both kind of wants here. I don't. I look, like I said, I don't care if they show up or not. Like, I just want to know why it would be some tragedy. Like, if this were to occur, it seems like this is this resentment, like this beef that's going on right now. Like I keep seeing it like recurringly, and I'm just like,
amongst who though?
People on Twitter.
No, like who are the people on Twitter exactly?
Oh,
like what do you think of these camps on Twitter in this
well, I
discussion?
think there's your Stardomer Joshi Twitter user, your
so
AEW hardcore
does that person actually want to see them in AEW and see them on Forbidden Door?
I think they don't want any parts of AEW whatsoever. What I gather, it's not a.
That's kind of what I see too. Yeah.
So
I don't care one way or the other.
Right. I'm like, I like, like obviously, like I don't know. I find it strange. If you're somebody that is hearing this and you feel like, nah, man, we don't want to do none of that. Holla at us, like, and come to the Discord, help me understand. Are the threats of like your wrestlers being raided, that's real. I understand that. That's a very real thing. We just saw Aussie Open. I mean, like
Aussie Open Jay White,
and eventually like you end up, and Will Ospreay will be very interesting when that time comes. But
yep. Sabre probably never gets Sabre. I mean, Sabre was working Noah a decade ago.
I don't know if it's the same situation for the Stardomers because, like, how many of them would they really, try to sign? I don't think they would try to sign like an assembly line of them. Like, yeah, we're gonna wipe out the entire golden generation. Like, yeah, let's get them all in. Like, I don't think there's way less spots. There's way less everything available for the women's wrestlers.
The golden generation wouldn't be what would be on AEW's radar. Not what I think would be on AEW's radar. What would be on AEW's radar would be like Julia, Shuri, Mayu, and maybe probably not even Tam, but maybe Tam if we're fourth person. But probably not even Tam because like you already got the cuteness stuff when you got like Maki Ito there. It already fills a role. In theory. So yeah, like
Dr. Larry, there's a good point. AEW would want Kyrie though, for sure.
Oh yeah, I forgot Kyrie because Kyrie's not actually. She's a free agent that works Stardom. She's not actually like officially in theory like she's not on the roster page. So I don't even think when I think of Kyrie as like she's a free agent that just works Stardom. But yeah, Kyrie will be number one. For that because obviously she's already been over here. People already know her. Well, actually, number one would be Mercedes. If we're actually talking about it, but like, so like that's another part about it is like, what if Mercedes is a person is like here because like they've already have done the New Japan, or not woman like the NJPW Strong title, women's title. It was they had the match with Mercedes and Willow. They showed Willow winning. They showed Mercedes on AEW television. They showed clips of her. It seems like she's coming in at some point. It seems like they're dropping hints she's coming in. This could be that. And once that happens, like all these conversations will be null and void and like everybody will shut the fuck up. So who knows?
I think in her case, it's a race to see if her ankle will be healed by then or whatever's like wrong with her. And then she wins it back at the much bigger show from like Willow or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be I think that was the proposed booking, but we'll see.
So Zachy Post. I don't know. So Zakapo says Kyrie's married, she's staying home. Yeah, but like she'll take trips and do shots. She has no problem doing that.
But yeah, I just thought it was interesting. Like, and I'm just like, man, there's a lot of vitriol I see. Like once you start seeing stuff with 100 and 200 likes and like 30 quote tweets and shit, it's just a war zone. And I'm like, this is interesting. I didn't know this whole thing was as big as it was.
Rich, we've been covering Stardom since 2019, and like when we had these when I send you stuff or whatever else that we don't talk about publicly, there is just a large sect of like gatekeepery stuff going on where like they and I find it weird because it's like you like these wrestlers, but you don't want these wrestlers to like consolidate in one particular promotion regardless of what promotion it is. You don't want like the scene to consolidate so you can see more high quality matches, potentially grow a gigantic, grow a bigger promotion, and like, and then you also like don't want them to come overseas so they get more recognition and therefore possibly make more money for them. Literally throwing their heads at the ground. It's weird.
I mean, I gotta say, I really don't see people complaining about DPW when they're showing up. I don't see people complaining about when people go to GCW or West Coast Pro or anything like that.
Right. Right. But the second it's AEW or WWE is well, they might get paid a lot of money and then to say, hey, I'd rather work this easier style of my body in coast. They don't want motherfuckers coasting apparently. I don't know, man. Like I don't care. Like it was bad at sometimes when like Kyrie and Io weren't using the best of their abilities or potential given how talented they are. Definitely understand that. No disagreements on that. However, that was their fucking choice. I'm bummed out that Gargano decided to go back to WWE, but like I'm not gonna be like, damn, man. Like it is what it is. He chose to go there. He happy. Well, I'm supposed to be mad at him because he decided to do some shit he wanted to do. It is what it is.
Yeah. I guess the other strategy should be, you don't want to fuck with Star. I guess Kenny should just get on the phone with Takumi Roja then. Like, I guess they should just start cleaning out the rest of the folks. What was her name? Chihiro Hashimoto? Get her on the line too. How about we try that? Will that make them more mad or less mad than Stardom being integrated with Forbidden Door and stuff?
I'm not quite sure. I really don't know how that would go if all of a sudden like Oscar Vinny showed up. Right. I don't know how that would go. Or Arisa Nakajima shows up. I don't know how that would go. I really don't. That's a good question. I don't know how they react. I don't know. But like either way, it would be people getting shat. Somebody will get shat on eventually, whatever else. They'll probably end up being people end up shitting on Stardom Floor. How come you didn't bring them in? Because motherfucker, every time we bring someone in, y'all complain about it. What the fuck?
Miyu Yamashita is just rolling around the United States right now.
Yep.
Hanging out with Natty and stuff like that. And,
yeah.
A lot of stuff going on there. But yeah, man. I just wanted to bring that up. But moving